It is really exciting to be here. And when I was asked to come over here and speak, I found it very interesting because Anthony Robbins, when he spoke at the TED conference in Long Beach, at the end of it, he related a story. And that was a story about me. And the story that he related took place on the day of 9/11. Please watch.
As I'm sure you know by now, early this morning, our time, there was a terrorist attack in New York and in Washington, D.C.
Called me this morning at 8:56 a.m. from the 101st floor to tell me that there was smoke in the room.
I'm the director of neurosurgery at one of our trauma hospitals, and I know what's going on right there, right now.
My first reaction was, as a Muslim, hey, this is retribution.
There are people in the world today, right this moment, who are celebrating at their success of pulling off an amazing logistical nightmare.
Muslims feel, hey, listen, you came into my home, took, my home, and you kicked me out.
Neither I nor anybody I know was ever raised with the concept of being a suicide bomber.
And then you give back, like, a little bathroom to me, and I'm supposed to celebrate, and when I'm not celebrating, you come and kick my ass?
A real warrior, not a thug who calls himself a warrior so he can feel better about himself. A thug is out just to create violence. Do it again.
And it's all here in your heart too. So if you kill, you're killing a part of yourself.
Thank you. People sometimes ask me, did you really say that? Did you really feel like that? And yes, I did. Now, imagine this. This was filmed live at an Anthony Robbins leadership conference. And Anthony Robbins is considered as among the top business engineers in the world today. There were 2,500 people present over there that day. It was 3 days into that leadership conference. And among the 2,500 people, there was perhaps about maybe 5 or 10 Muslims. There were 50 people, 50 or 60 people in the audience that day who had lost relatives, friends, co-workers. People were in a state of shock, in a state of stunned disbelief. The woman that you saw up there, her fiancé actually called moments before he died. And he left a recording on her phone. And she played that for us. And she was later on CNN, Larry King Live also. So there was raw emotion. The room was charged with emotion. And when I got up and I said that, 7 men got up from the audience and they rushed towards me. And security immediately stepped in, calmed the situation down. Now, perhaps 99% of the room that day disagreed with every single thing that I said. But there's, I believe, only one reason that they actually had an ear to listen to what I said. And that is perhaps because they felt my sincerity, my honesty. They felt that there was, you know what, we totally disagree with this guy, but I don't know, he really believes in what he's saying. There's some honesty about him. And that's perhaps the only reason they had an ear to listen to me. Little did I know that the truth that I was speaking that day was going to change by the end of that day. And you know what? When I got up to speak, before I got up to speak, there was this huge conflict inside me. There was this fight inside me. And I thought to myself that morning, you know what, Asad, just shut up. Say absolutely nothing. If anybody asks you, say, yeah, this was really bad thing. Disagree with them and say, yeah, this was horrible. I totally condemn this thing. This is bad. All that kind of stuff. Just mouth, just lip all the right words. But in my heart, I knew what the truth was, and I thought, you know what, don't make a big deal out of it. You know it, that's it, keep quiet. But then, when I actually went and sat down and Tony actually started speaking, there was something inside me just fought back and said, no, this is totally wrong. And you can't keep quiet, because then everything that you are, everything that you believe, everything is a lie, because you either speak now or that's it. Then just shut up forever. Forever. Because it's the way of the coward when you know the truth and you just shut up when you're actually supposed to get up and speak. Thank you. Thank you. And I was scared. It's the truth. I was really scared. But I don't know, something happened inside me. There was this do or die thing. And it was just a moment of truth. I got up and I spoke. I spoke from my heart. And it was like I was giving voice to this visceral truth that Muslims all over the world had felt for a very long time. And I felt I was actually giving voice to that, a voice to Muslims everywhere. And that's why I spoke. It wasn't because I was angry or something like that. What happened was, the magic that happened was that because I spoke from that place of heart and honesty, the audience felt it, and along the way, in the next few hours, as I grew, as my truth evolved, so did everybody else, because they followed along in their hearts, in the depth of their heart, in the depth of that place where we all have that sincerity of belief and conviction in something. They followed along. And by the end of that day, I had embraced a much larger truth. A much larger truth that was not about Muslims only. It was about human beings and human capacity, and the capacity to love and to believe and to take action and to make a difference. And people were on their chairs, screaming, shouting, cheering, with tears of joy. And a day of immense tragedy had been turned into a day of hope, courage, and inspiration. And it was only because I believe that perhaps people could feel some part of that honesty in me. And that's why they followed along in their hearts. So sometimes people ask me, how did you do it, Asad? Like, how did you do it? It's very simple. It's easy. Step one is you have to be absolutely authentic. Absolute authenticity. And that starts with believing in yourself. Not just believing in yourself, but you put aside all roles, all facades, everything that you think you are, and you step in to the real you. The you that you are in your heart, in your depth of being. And you do it fully. You live it. You breathe it. You live it. You walk it. You talk it. And you do it when it's easy. And you do it when it's difficult. And you do it when people disagree with you. Even when you're persecuted. Even when you're pelted. Because that is when your truth will shine the brightest. Thank you. Thank you. Step two, you have to be absolutely present. It's a very simple concept. Presence is so simple, which is why most people just miss it. Presence simply means stop rushing. Stop thinking next. We have this disease in Pakistan. We're always rushing. Always rushing. But we never quite make it. You know? So, how about we just agree to drop it? And just be here like 100%. Just totally breathe into this very moment of whatever we're doing. Action or inaction. Be in this moment 100%. That's presence. You know what? It's a very simple but very profound concept. Let me share with you how it's actually done. Okay? If you would, please, turn to the person next to you, to your right and to your left. Just greet them. Go ahead, shake their hands. Just go ahead, shake their hands. Go ahead, come on, shake hands. I'm watching you, Amin. All right. That's good, thank you. Now, let me show you how this would be with a little bit of presence added to it. Okay? Put your feet flat on the ground. Go ahead. Yeah, sit up in your chairs, put your back straight. All right, yeah. Now, take a deep breath. Go ahead. Yeah. From your belly. Good. Now, close your eyes. Go ahead, it's okay. It's safe. Close your eyes. Good. Now, I want you to take another deep breath. And this time, actually feel yourself breathing. Yeah, go ahead. Feel yourself breathing. Now, actually feel your feet. Wiggle your toes. Yeah, feel your feet. Now feel your hands. Yeah, just feel your hands. Don't think it, just feel it. Be out of your head. Now take another deep breath and feel the breath. Go ahead. Open your eyes. Yeah, open your eyes. Now, when you greet the person next to you, take a second and actually stop and look into their eyes. Go ahead. Greet them one more time. Go ahead. I'm watching you guys. That was different. Presence is that simple. Presence actually only means one very simple thing. Be in your body. That's it. Don't be in your head. Be in your body. The only way you're going to feel your heart is if you're actually feeling your body. Because your heart is over here. It's that simple and it's that profound. Step 3, fearless action. There is magic in action. Talk is great, but action is where the magic happens. And you have to be bold, you have to be courageous, and you have to take massive action. The speakers that you heard before, they've all talked about massive action, bold action, fearless action. That's where the magic is at. And along the way, when you're taking action, you learn, you grow, and you evolve. And how long do you do that? Continuously, forever. For as long as we inhabit this planet, we learn, we grow, and evolve. We're never too old, trust me, to learn, grow, and evolve. If there's anything that's become a rule now, is that the world is changing so fast that we have to learn, grow, and evolve continuously, forever, if we're going to make it. Now, these are 3 very, very simple steps. But these 3 very simple steps is what make the 1 degree, the 1 degree of that critical difference that separates an ordinary man from a man, an ordinary man who went out and buried the dead. That's what he started out doing. But he did it with such heart. He did it with such sincerity of purpose that he inspired so many people that this man has created one of the largest social service organizations in the world, with the largest ambulance service in the world. You and I know him lovingly as Maulana Abdul Sattar Idi. Yeah, really. He deserves all our salute. And this is that same critical difference, that 1 degree of difference that separates an ordinary man in a prison from a prisoner who has such depth of purpose, such sincerity of being, that he is able to actually unite a nation that is warring, that is killing, that is destroying itself. A man who united the whites and the blacks and inspired them to become one nation, and he led them. And we know this man as Nelson Mandela. And it's that same 1 degree of critical difference that made one CEO be so on fire, so inspired, that he inspired everybody from the top all the way to the bottom. The most menial worker who worked for him, who worked for his organization. And he inspired these people to such a degree, to such a depth, that he just didn't inspire the people who worked for him, but their families also. And I know this because I have actually worked, consulted with this organization a lot. And I've spoken to the employees, and they're like, yeah, they still speak of him fondly. You and I know him as Shaukat Raza Mirza. He took Exxon, turned it into Angro. And in that process, he touched and uplifted, massively uplifted, the lives of thousands of people. Thousands of people. So what am I really talking to you about? Leadership? I don't need to talk to you about leadership in this room. You're leaders. You know exactly what leadership is about. But what I'm talking about is that something, is that magic that happens in the heart, that inspiration, that's something very, very special that separates Edie from an ordinary man, that separates Mandela from an ordinary prisoner, that separates a CEO from a Shaukat Raza Mirza, a man who's left us a legacy. And you know what? We just don't celebrate it enough. But he's one of the biggest heroes of Pakistan, one of my favorite heroes. But we don't do it. And the reason that these men were able to really bring forth such genius, such passion, was because they actually tapped into that one special quality, that inspiration in their heart. And you know what? We've all had those moments of inspiration where we have actually stood apart from the crowd, where we've either done something or said something that's been, wow. People have gone, wow. Maybe it was with your family, maybe it was with your school or with your company, with your team. Somewhere you know exactly what I'm talking about, because we've all done that. But the magic happens when you take that and you put that as a standard for your life, and you say, you know what, now I'm going to live my entire life like that. Because what I did that day, on the day of 9/11, I started a brand new journey, and I aspire to bring that level of authenticity and purpose into my life, into every single thing that I do every day. I want to inspire myself to rise to that level. And that's my invitation to all of us over here, to do that. And when we begin to do that, this second, this moment, now not tomorrow, not day after. When we walk out of here, the few hundred people that are here in this room, we will touch the lives of other people, and they in turn will be inspired to rise to the same standard, and we will create this huge, massive ripple effect. And this truth, this inspiration, is needed by all of us. Everyone from the Panwala to the president. It needs reminding of this real, live, visceral truth. And that is what Pakistan needs right now. Thank you. Thank you very much.